Hope everybody's good. Good day of work from our guys. I like our energy and our effort where we're at. Certainly some things we can keep growing on. But that being said, they did a really good job of attacking the day.
In terms of player availability, Dan, the guys, do you philosophically believe that guys have to practice Tuesday, Wednesday to be available on the game day?
I think it's really hard to be, hard to be successful when you don't get to go out there. Some guys, it also depends on over time, right? Guys with more experience are probably able to get out there a little bit easier with less work on the field. But yeah, generally I'd say you got to go out there and be able to work.
There's a lot of ways to lead. We've seen like a lot of players better in leadership. Was there a specific player that's like the most vocal leader in the team? Have you seen every practice always juicing guys up?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we got a good group of guys that recognize what it takes to be successful, and it's not just one person each day. It's it's several guys.
Cal has shown the ability to really air it out. I know that 52 pass attempts a couple weeks ago. What are you seeing from Plummer that really could give you guys problems?
I think he's a really accurate quarterback. Does a good job of getting the ball downfield. I don't think there's a lot of throws that he can't make. He does a good job of that. Probably more elusive than people give him credit for. Does a good job moving the pocket, but he's got good wideouts and he's done a good job delivering the ball accurately.
Is there a little bit of similarity with them and Stanford in that they're going to be a little bit more prototypical pocket passer there as opposed to the mobile dual threat type and have an opportunity to develop and see something for your pass rush you're looking for this week?
There's some similarities. They're going to give you more of a variety of formations and a lot of different sets, but there's some similarities.
Jaden Hogg, the running backs, obviously had a lot of early success in this league. What just stands out about him on tape when you see him?
Just how hard he runs. I mean, I think he's been freshman player of the week 3 weeks. He does a good job running the ball. He runs with great physicality and effort, and that shows up.
Is there a quarterback that you faced against this year that reminds you of Palmer a little bit?
No, I think he's different. We had that conversation as staff. He's different than the guys that we've gone against this year. But again, I think he's a really good quarterback.
What does it allow Solid to pull around from right tackle to all the way around the left side and then take on third-level defenders? And that's a lot of ground to cover for a guy his size.
You watch film of certain guys and you're like, oh, right, Salah is one of those guys. When you watch his film, you're like, oh, like he can do some things that you weren't meant to do at that size, right? His athleticism in space. Like if we play pickup basketball tomorrow, I don't know if he can shoot, but I'd put him on my team the way he moves his feet and his size. Probably bang people out in the paint. Probably a five foul guy, I would guess, right? But if we're playing half court, right, I want Salah on my team. He takes up space. He's good in space. He's really has done a good job for us this year.
Who would you put on your team?
Well, Salah's on there, all right.
Your 5.
This is a tough question. Yeah. All right, who would our shooters be?
Nanny's got the best.
Is he really? Yeah, I mean he was good. Yeah, well he's good at the free throw line, but I don't know if we're gonna be shooting. You gotta call your own fouls, right? We need somebody that can be the point. Somebody's got to be the one. It's got handles. I don't know who that is. I gotta watch our guys a little bit closer. It's a good question.
Do you think there's things that Adrian Flynn has done with this offensive line, particularly with Solid, that's kind of allowed him to find that next level in his game?
Yeah, I think, again, Coach's experience, Coach Clem's experience at the next level, I think is special. And then every week I feel like you see these guys, just like we talk about as a team, find a weakness and improve on a weakness. There are some things, everybody else in the media thinks that there wasn't a lot of things we did wrong on the offensive line or on the offense this past week, but the reality is there's some things we really wanted to improve. We come out here Monday and Tuesday and I see them doing drill-specific work on the things we wanted to attack, and I think that shows up week in and week out with each one of our position coaches.
Is there a threshold with the illegal man downfield that you just have to tolerate? I mean, because of the risk-reward of the offense and the way that stylistically is there a certain number that
we got to get better at that. It's things don't ever happen quite in a game like they happen on the field. So if you're anticipating the ball being out a little bit earlier because of how it showed up in practice, right, you got to count on that to be the case in the game, and that's not really what's showing up. So there's some of these plays where you're thinking the ball will be delivered quicker, and there's a chance somebody will be down the field, but the ball will be out in time. Right, we got to know at quarterback when that's a possibility, and then we have to know on the offensive line when that's a possibility. But we can coach that better, and we're working on that.
What's it about Bo's demeanor that has made him such a good leader on this team?
Humble and hungry. Right, humble and hungry, right? He understands what we're trying to do and execute. He never lets the moment be bigger than the moment, right? He's always out there to play the game. He's a smart, intelligent player that goes out there and executes at a high level.
To that point about the intelligence, quarterbacks obviously, that's kind of a prerequisite. Is that how impressive though has it been? I guess working with somebody like that. It seems like his football IQ, from our perspective, is off the charts.
Yeah, it's really high, and it's important in our system to have a guy that can do that and do the things that he does for us.
For the offense, what are some of those things that you guys want to improve on? What's sort of the next step for these guys going through the season?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we don't want to ever punt. We don't want to ever be in these situations. But there's some stuff for space play that we think we can get better at. Pre-snap penalties, I think we've been penalized more. And we have to continue to improve in that area. I think the only time we've stopped ourselves is when we've stopped ourselves, right? So finding those moments, whether it be a man downfield, a false start, right, the way we are able to play in space at times, I think those things need to continue to improve for us.
Can you talk about the job that Carlos Laughlin has done, fifth in rushing attack in country? What has he brought to this room that maybe was missing last season?
I can't speak to last season. All I can speak is what Carlos brings every single day. He played the position. He coaches it really hard. He's never satisfied, right? He has great energy and enthusiasm. I think that just continues to show up.
Gamble's come up with all his TFLs last 3 games for them out of that nickel position. Is that instinctual? Are they throwing a lot of nickel fire in there? How's he racking up?
It's a combination of both, right? Combination of both. He's a good player. They do a good job changing up looks. They will bring some pressure at times with the nickel. So he's done a good job when they have.
You guys ran 4 or 5 punters out there today. Just how is that competition going? What have you seen from them all?
Keep competing. Like we do with every position, right? But we're trying to find a rhythm there, and we got to keep competing to figure out what that looks like.
With Boyle's onside recovery last week, I know he was a quarterback and a safety in high school. Is him being an athlete, does that put him in a better position to be in that role and go make an athletic play like he did?
Probably.
Steve Shaw made his ruling last week on the self-pass at Blasio. Just wanted your perspective on that ruling combined with, did you guys say something at the time that it was?
Yeah, we asked if it was reviewable at the time. We were told no. They looked at it, it wasn't. And I saw the new interpretation. I still don't know how much of an advantage it really provides either team. I don't think it's that big a deal to make it a big deal, but it certainly looks like 2 passes to people on defense.
As Justin Fuller gets more and more game reps this year, where have you seen him kind of improve just mid-season?
Well, I think the one thing that Justin's become better and better at is controlling his demeanor, right? You don't let your highs get too high and your lows get too low. His greatest strength is his passion, right? But that can also be, just like any of us, that can be at times a weakness when it's not controlled and you're not able to direct it to the next play. I think Justin's done a good job of being even keel in high moments. I think a penalty happened against Justin, in the last game, and it was about him being able to keep his cool and be relatively cool in a moment where there's high intensity and pressure, and he's handled that well.
Penalties have kind of been an issue for most of the season, at least. Where do you feel like this team has grown the most from, just week 1 to where we are now in the season?
In general or in penalties?
Yeah, overall.
We just, every week's been different. We have growth mindset. Every week we've had a different approach of what we feel like we need to improve on and get better at. I don't think there's one thing. If there was only one thing that we got better at, then we're probably not getting better at the other thing. So I think each week we kind of direct it to where we think our biggest opportunities for growth are, and our guys have done a good job of that.